I just thought I would start with talking about like the cage system for my first Walker Wednesday. And I don't know who all knows what that's in here right now, but if you don't know anything about it, which I didn't for a long time, turns out I did. But when I was teaching one day, I started explaining how to use shapes and stuff on guitar, and I walked myself right into spelling out the cage system. So I will kind of go through that again. I'll raise up just a little bit more. If anybody can't see anything or whatever, just let me know. All right. Instagram, I know it's going to be a little weird because it's vertical. So I'll try to keep an eye on that. And when I'm showing my hands, I'll move over. So, caged is what I thought was a system that was a cage. Like I thought like a dog cage or whatever, you know, like a box or something. That's what I thought it was. And turns out that's not what it is. It is just spelling out the word caged in shapes, right? So you got C, the C shape, and then if we're doing it in the key of C, which is the easiest one to go. So you do C, then you can do the A shape C, C A, then the G, G shape C, and then the E, C A G E, and then the D shape. So that's caged, right? So it's all based off of chord shapes. And a lot of times, a lot of people talk about it, and that's as far as they go, and then they talk about triads a lot. Right? And if you put it all together, it's all one thing. You know what I mean? Like, so when you use caged, you normally use it in triads and then like some scales around it, which I call them useful notes. So like if you're going in C, that would be all your useful notes, right? So it would be the scale, the major scale, right? And then you got some extended C scale. All right, before I go to another shape. So, and then you got the A shape, and you would take the major scale there. When you get up to G, you got that one. And then you got like the major pentatonic scale. Right there. Then you go up to the E shape, which is normally like everybody's bread and butter. So you got like major notes. The sorry. You got the major scale, then you got like the minor pentatonic, then you got like the blues scale. All that stuff that you know. And then the D one, I don't really use D and I don't really use A when I'm doing stuff because the D shape is within the C shape and the A shape is within the G shape. So I think C, G, E, and that's it really when I'm playing. But there's all the ones up in there. Okay, so then the part where it becomes useful, using the concept of triads and the cage concept, okay? So if you got triads within the CAGED system, and then you group them in threes. So, like in chord shapes and chord numbers. So, like the 1, the 4, and the 5. If you group those shapes together, like say in C, you got this shape is your 1, this shape, the E shape is your 4, and the G shape is your 5, right? That works in cowboy chord land, and then we can move it up and just go to E flat, right? So now you still got the C shape, the E shape, the G shape, and the C shape that works all together, and you can move that anywhere you want to. Break that down to triads. So instead of doing full chord shapes, I'm going to do it just in triads, right? So you just take the 3 that you want to. You can do, again, now back to what I said earlier. There's your D shape in the top of the C shape. There's another triad. There's another triad, right? And if you just take, let's just stick with like the B string, G string, and D string. All right, so you got that. Now we're in the C shape still. Those will be my 3 shapes for 1, 4, 5, 1. And now you can take that anywhere you want to. You can go up here, down here. Okay, so there's your C, 1, 4, 5. Now, back to what, again, I said before. This, to me, is an A shape because that's how I play an A. Right? But that's also the G shape. So, that's why I think of it more as G and A being together and D and C being together. So anyway, back to this. You got the A here, your C shape D is your 4 chord. Right? So you got A, D, E, A. Right? So you can take that anywhere. Alright? Now your E shape. This is the third one that I use regularly. You got the E, the A, and then you can't really explain it down here because I need to go behind the nut. So we'll move it up to G. Right? Now back to the triad. There's your E shape, 1, 4, and then your C shape is the 5. Oh, sorry. Right? So here, if you did it down here, to explain that a little bit, E, A, and then your B7, but if you play it like this, alright? And then if you had enough room behind the nut, that's really just the C shape disguised as a B7. Right? So when you move that up to here, you got your C shape 5 chord. Right? So now you got your 1 there, and then your pentatonic. Oh, sorry. And then you got your 4 chord, which could be either on the A side or the G side. I play the G side. And then the 5 chord, which is your C. Now the reason that it's useful is if we take this and we want to play over the changes, and we'll stick to simple 1, 4, 5 stuff. And then the 4 chord, without moving, right? There's your 4 chord. Then to the 5, back to the 1. So now you can play stuff that sounds like you changed chords while you're soloing. So you can kind of see how like the chord changes sound like they're chord changes while you're playing, right? And then if you want to move and do something different, you're in G here, so you go to your G here, and there's your 1, 4, 5, 1. And then your 5. And then you use like the arpeggios to walk through the different, shape positions, if you will. Here. To navigate 1, 2, and 3 position, and you can build a solo through doing that. My school that I'm rocking the t-shirt of today is Bart's Badass Guitar School, and I do Zoom lessons, and I do camps, 3-day camps with 12 people, and then I do some stay and plays if you want to come stay here with me for 3 days and do intensive guitar work. And then there's also the website. It's only $5 a month if you want to, sign up and do lessons that way. I pre-record them, and then you go on there and learn at your own pace. You want to see the old the Lucky Dog Telly? Hey, there's for the Instagram guys in the vertical version. So this is a Lucky Dog, and it's made by Anthony Sims. They're based out of Cleveland, Tennessee. There we go. And I can get the glare off a little bit so you can see it. Anthony is a unbelievable artist, and he makes playable works of art, and this was my first one. And then I got Brian Ricks at Moody Leather Straps that got me a strap that matches it. And then my favorite picks on the planet nowadays are, I bet it won't focus, will it? Tone slab picks is my jam, and I love them. All right, I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out, and like I said, hopefully it'll be better next week. Have a good night, everybody.